another edition of Borino Live. Every Tuesday, almost every Tuesday, we get together right here on Rockstars. Then we post it on YouTube and on Listing University. But we do it live right here in our awesome group where I come for about an hour. I drink my coffee. Here's my lovely cappuccino. We can't go without it, right? And then we talk. We talk about real estate. We talk about money. We talk about clients. We talk about how to get better, how to help more people, be cool, feel good, enjoy the business, and do well. That's what we do right here. Is this your first time with us? Please say hello. Make sure you do. I read the comments. I will actually show them on the screen. Let me just center it. Hold on. I'm going to do this. Hey, Maka is with us. Lovely Maka Apstiaruri. I tried to pronounce it. I can never get that right, Maka. I apologize, but it's an awesome name. Anyway, it's good to have you. Let's get ready to rumble with Sergeant Borino, says Andy. Nice to have you, Andy. What's happening? Thanks for joining us. Victoria, lovely Victoria, from beautiful sunny California. Marlene checking in. Hello to you as well. Kathy. Oh, okay. Here's another good one that I'm going to struggle with. Nigeri. Maka says that's pretty good. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Hey, with my name like Borino, you know, people do all kinds of stuff. Hey, Mr. Greg Sanders. Lovely to have you, good sir. Thanks for checking in. Oh, there's one thing I wanted to show you guys. I got to have this handy before we get started because I have a present for you. Santa Borino has a present with his awesome students. Good to have you, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to talk about a couple of things. I want to give you that business cards tip where there was a great discussion. Should we have a photograph on our business cards? Is it important? I'll give you some signs. I'll give you some answers, some marketing answers, whether yes or no, and an alternative to your business cards. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how the next 21 days before we reach the holidays, the Christmas and the end of the year, are absolutely essential to your business and how it can completely impact and ramp up your 2018 if you do a couple of things, right? And I have this lovely present for you. One of you lucky guys or gals will win a book by my man Deepak Chopra that I had the chance to visit with, to see a presentation and actually chat with him briefly and get a book signed for you guys. That's the plan for today. Any questions I can answer, please post them. I'm here to help. I want to make sure you walk away with plenty of good inspiration. We're going to have fun, plenty of good times to be had by all rock stars. All right, so let's get started. What's on my mind? First of all, let's address the business card issue. There have been discussions on and on and on. Should I put business cards? Should I put photograph on my business card? And there are several schools of thought and bunch of opinions. But what I would like to add to the discussions is science, where you forget about this is what I think and this is what I believe. Frankly, it doesn't really matter. What is the most effective way to do that? If you're going to use business cards, the answer is resounding 100% yes. Ta-da! You should absolutely have a picture on your business card. Big picture, recent picture, you smiling. It accomplishes several things. First of all, a nice, pleasant, smiling face instantly, subconsciously communicate. I'm having a good time, I feel good, I'm confident, I know what I'm doing, and I can be trusted. How is that for a message embodied in just one image? So if you have a business card, one of those lames, you remember those when people on the phone, they were like, oh, I'm too busy to take a picture, but take a picture anyway, I'm going to look like I'm very important. Remember those? They were really big when I started in real estate in 1744. That joke never gets old. So don't do that. Cool, smiling, high status, pleasant expression, nice settings. Now, it doesn't need to be that studio setup, you know, it's perfectly lit and beautiful background and you're decked out in your best Armani suit or the best dress clothes you can wear. Just cool. You. Dress nice, nice accessories, pleasant, the way you would normally look to meet a client. Great smile, connection with the camera, that's all you need. Now, here is why it's important. In addition to sending that message, I'm having a good time, I'm high status, I can be trusted, which is essential, as you know, face is the first thing people will remember. It's the first thing they will encode visually. Now, yes, you may be talking to them on the phone and you're creating a first impression with your voice, but we are visual creatures. Our neural endings, I'm trying to pretend to be smart and I know the terms, but the cells that process visual information are connected directly to the brain. That's why we remember most of the stuff visually. I mean, if I tell you, do you remember your first car? For a second, just remember for a second, what was your first car? you suddenly have an image, right? Like I remember my first card was a little Fiat. It was a red sports Fiat 128. And I see that little thing, you know, it was a little tiny car, a little squish there, it had 2 doors. We recall visually, we process visually. We're, for the most part, visual creatures. Think about this. Has that ever happened to you? You walk into the room, let's say it's a party, and you see a person in a corner, and it's a lovely gentleman drinking a beer, and you're like, holy shit, I know that guy. I remember the face. I don't remember the name, but I remember the face. We are programmed to do that. We program visually. So if you have another opportunity, another channel that you can deploy where people remember you, use it. Put your face on everything. It is your recognition. It is your calling card. It is who you are. It is who you represent visually. So your face should be on everything. Your website, your for sale sign, your open house sign, your business card, everything. Everybody got it? Good? So don't debate it. It doesn't really matter what you think, what you like, what you prefer. It's not about that. It is about what works, which is what we talk about here. Put your face on everything so that people can put a name to the face to what you do. Got it? All right. Number 2, here's the strategy. Do not use business cards. Yes, you still need them, like when you show a house, you need to leave a business card there. When you work with an escrow officer or whoever, they need your contact information. Fine. But for your day-to-day interaction with your prospects and your clients, stop using business cards. This is not 1985 anymore. What happens if you hand off somebody your business card? What do they do with it? Oh, I'm going to cherish it. I'm going to carry it. And it's going to be precious in my heart until we're ready to sell our house. Thank you for this offering, for this gift, oh wise one. Does that ever happen? Of course not. No. What do they do? Oh, thanks. Gee. You turn around, whoosh, poof, it's in the trash. How many business cards do you collect? Do you still have a Rolodex on your desk? Come on. 1985. No. Don't do that. Here's a better strategy. You meet a prospect. You have a conversation with them. I will be more than happy to keep in touch. I will send you the information. Let me get my smartphone. What's your contact information? I'm texting you my contact right now. Looking forward to being in touch. That's it. This is 21st century, people. 2017 is almost over. That's how we do business today. Or if you want to get better, like if somebody has a little tougher spelling, different name or whatever, just hand them the damn phone. Just put it in their hand. Hey, put your contact information there. Make sure you include the phone number and the cell. And the email. You text them, you're now connected. That's how it works. So that now you call. Now, if you want to take it even a step further, when they put their information on their phone, you take a picture of yourself. Now the visual is linked. Aha, see how it works? So when you call, your face pop up and you say, oh, I recognize Maka, of course. Let me talk. When you text, boom, contact info pops up. Got it? Don't overthink this. Don't overanalyze it. Just do it. Just do it. It's easier to have all the information in one place. It's easier for them to communicate with you, easier for you to communicate with them. Just use the technology, for crying out loud. Stop using business cards. What say you? Let's see what the crowds are thinking. Hey, John, good morning to you, good sir. Rez checking in. Lovely to have you. Michael from Texas, lovely to have you. Kathy's checking out. Please, I love Deepak. Oh, good, so you can win the book. I can tell you all about it. Good morning to you, everybody. So you guys like the idea. Excellent, good. Lots of likes I see flying on the screen, which is fantastic. So that's how you do it, guys. Don't overthink it. The less problem you have with it, meaning if you just hand them the phone like this is how it's done, they will follow your lead. It's part of you establishing control, part of you establishing your status as a high status expert who knows how to get this done and you know what you're doing. That's what you need to do. You lead from the beginning. This is how it's done. Because if they stall you on something so simple, something so insignificant as giving you contact information on the phone, think about what awaits down the road. Don't be afraid to take charge. This is not about being arrogant. This is not about being pushy or obnoxious. But you need their contact information in order for you to help them. And if they like you and if they trust you, why would they resist? Doesn't make sense. So just do it. Do it and report back to me. Watch how cool it is to use this strategy. All right, guys. Any questions? Just post them here. So, as you know, maybe, I'm very pretentious. I think everybody knew that it was my birthday recently. And my darling Hannah, my wife, set up some really cool stuff for me. We had a wonderful family dinner at a steakhouse that I love. We did some fun things. I got fun presents. I got some cool clothes and just cool things. Kids made some crafts and some cards and stuff. But one of the best presents I received, and thank you, Hannah. Thank you, darling. I don't know if she's watching on live or not. I can't tell. But one of the things she gave me, we got 2 tickets to see a special presentation, a lecture by Dr. Deepak Chopra. And many of you know I'm a huge fan of his. I use the Abundance program, which is a 21-day meditation program. I have his books. I follow him for God knows how many years. I'm a huge fan of what he teaches. So we had an opportunity to sit in a special lecture he did. And it was a fascinating stuff. I really didn't know what to expect. I didn't know it was going to be like, woohoo, like when I do workshops, or it's going to be like everybody will be very somber and taking notes. And it was neither. It was him giving a talk on how our world is connected, how we belong to this world, how we're connected in this world and in this universe, and how the recent findings of science tell us why breathing and meditations are so essential to our well-being, how sleep is so essential to our well-being, how majority, almost every single disease, and this is coming from a medical doctor. The dude is really connected with the smartest people in the world, and he's a doctor himself. How sleep causes a lot of trouble for both psychologically and physiologically. And I know I'm oversimplifying a guy who delivered it in a very smart, elegant way, but I wanted to just kind of share. And how majority of the diseases we suffer from today are a result of stress. If we can eliminate stress, or at least major sources of stress, and cope with the stress we have, we will live a better, more vibrant, healthier life. And one of the things, he was talking about movement, yoga, which I got back to again. Love yoga. Taking walks, taking naps, meditation. Those are simple things that can dramatically improve the quality of the life, quality of your work, and overall well-being. So it was really good stuff. And then we had a chance to get his new book called You Are the Universe, which is right here. And I asked that good old doctor to autograph a special copy for one of you. So as you can see, that's his signature right there. Autographed personally. I don't know if you saw the picture, but I posted a picture when he was signing it. He was very cool, very mellow, very cool guy. Very kind of a mellow, easy vibe about him. Nothing fazed him, very cool. Anyway, so one of you will win this. We're going to pick a random winner. Any of you guys who have commented today or will comment, now don't spam us, please, don't put bullshit there. But anyone who comments today or asks a question where it's logged in as today's live broadcast, we're going to pick a random winner. Kat will take care of it. They will load up the name to the system, and it randomly picks a winner. And I'm going to send you this autographed copy of the latest book. How cool is that? Huh? Coach Borino taking care of his troops, right? It's a really good book. Hannah started reading it. I haven't yet. I'm still reading Brandon Burchard's book, so I don't have it yet. But it looks really, really good. All right. So let's see. Cool. You guys like it. Excellent. So Gordon, that's how you win the book. Gordon would like to know how you win the book. Anybody who comments will be put in a drawing, and we'll randomly pick one, okay? I created contact with all my professional information. I use that to send out via text to people. Love it. Great idea, Brian. That's exactly what I'm talking about. All right. Hey, Mr. Todd. Lovely to have you, sir. Good morning from Utah. Sandra says, I missed the strategy. You're going to have it on replay, of course. Fadi has a question. I do Uber in busy hours like 5 to 7, 12 to 2. What's the best day to prospect then? I start conversation, got a few good leads out, but can I take it to the next level? Fadi, that's a really good question. What is the best time to prospect? So you work from 5 to 7, 12 to 2. What are the best times to prospect? One of the things, of course, depends who you're approaching. If you're working expired listings, you have to find the window. Now, the best approach to expireds, especially new ones, is you want to hit them as one of the first or the first agents. That's a key. So if you can be one of the first or the first one that they talk to, you have a better chance to establish rapport, build connection, and have a chat with them. You do it on the phone first to make sure they haven't relisted, and then you go there in person. That's the secret. With for sale by owner, it just depends. I have found that late in the afternoon when they're back from work, you can stop by, have a 10-minute chat, preview the property. Weekends are also good. So find the windows that work for you. Because what will depend, one of the factors that will influence that is the socioeconomics of the group. Is this a working class neighborhoods that you're working? Is it an upscale neighborhood? Are these people who are business owners, professionals? So it just depends. The best way to do that is track it. Track it. Keep track and see what works for you. And then the bottom line is, you know the Borino rule number 1? You remember which one? I mean, there are a few, but this one. Do the best you can in what you have. If the window you have is the only window you have, use it. Talk to people, connect with people, contact people, text, email, visit, call. Okay? Helpful? All right. So that's for my man Fadeep. Let me put it on the screen. How do you handle a price reduction with a seller who is penny pinching and needs to see where every dollar is coming out at? Brenna, that's a really good question. Brianna? Brianna. I think it's Brianna. The way you handle a price reduction is, number 1, price your listings right from the beginning if you can. That's the best way to do it. Because overpricing listings doesn't serve anyone. Pricing it right from the beginning, best buyers will show up, best agents with buyers will show up, you will get it done fast, the sellers love it, it's the easiest, most effective, and best service you can provide for your clients. Which is important because you want referrals later on. But occasionally it's not possible. Either you make a mistake and overprice it by accident, or you just say, fuck it, I just want this listing, I know this is going to be hard. So now, key element to getting listings sold is working with people who have a problem. Excuse me. You must have a seller as a problem to begin with. Motivation. They must have a solid desire to move. Either something is pushing out of the property or something is pulling them somewhere else. Your job is to know what it is and be very specific. Just like a doctor needs to know before they do surgery or before they do treatment. They need to know what the hell is wrong to begin with. Make sense? So you've got to do the same thing. You've got to diagnose first. And take your time. Here's what it accomplishes. You get clear, they get clear. Because I had sellers who after about 15, 20-minute conversation says, you know what, we actually kind of like it here, and now talking to you, we're getting clear we're going to stay here, which is great. Because I'd rather invest 15, 20 minutes than 2 to 3 months, attempts for price reduction, a good offer that gets rejected, pain in the butt seller, and the deal never closes. After I invested all that effort, time, and energy and money. You with me? Get clear. Help them get clear. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to take control, be in charge, and have a conversation with the seller. Go for it. So that's step 1. Step 2, establish what price will cause the property to sell. Here's where you're going to do what's called an emotional decoupling. This is an advanced strategy straight from Presentation Plus. If you don't have it, get it. It's called Listing Presentation Plus. It is the best listing presentation that will help you get better listings, price them better, present better, close more, get more money, and help more clients. No question about it. Now, you establish the motivation. That's number 1. Second, you establish the right price. This is where your market expertise has to kick in. You need to know your market inside out. Sellers look up to you. They need your advice. They need your information. They need to know what is it that the house is going to sell for. Emotional decoupling means this. You're not there to establish what the property is worth. It is not about what the house is worth. It is not about what the value is. It is about what it's going to sell for. Now, those numbers may be the same, but maybe not. And especially in the seller's mind, the house may be worth $1 million. But the reality is a buyer will pay $400,000 for it. That's the reality. You as an expert need to tell them, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, in order for you to buy that lovely condo down in Florida, we're going to put this property on the market at $427,000. It's going to sell for about $420,000, $425,000. It's going to take us about 30 to 45 days to secure a good offer. That's if there are now no unforeseen circumstances. And that's it. That's your job. It is not about what it's worth. It is about what it's going to sell for. So once you tell them that, let them do their drama. You say, well, I appreciate everything you say. I totally understand where you're coming from. Unfortunately, the reality is you don't set the price. I don't set the price. It is not up to us. There is no magic button I can push or a magic website I can go to or whip my magic wand to make it be worth more. The buyer's only going to be willing to pay what, in their opinion, is the most the house is worth, in their opinion. And then, of course, bank on top of it needs to appraise it. The question we need to decide today, the answer today is the proceeds, which in your case would be about $200,000 cash after we pay off the mortgage and fees, is to get you to that house in Florida. And how bad do you want to be there? How much does it matter to you? Now I connect my core driving emotion from the previous qualification and attach it to see how much it's going to stick. How important is it really? You do the same with price reductions. You sit down with them, here's the reality. You guys wanted $500,000 for it. Obviously, that's not going to happen, unfortunately. I wish I could. I wish I could help. I really do. But I don't control the price just like you don't. Only the market does. And then bank on top of it. So here's the reality. You show them the reality, you go over everything patiently and with understanding and with empathy, with heart, but with high status and confidence as well. It needs to be nicely balanced. You with me so far? Once you close it, you're not attached to the outcome because they can give you things like, well, the other agent told us we're going to get more, so that's the agent we're going to go with. To which you explain, you can go with another agent. But there are only two reasons why they're quoting you that price. Either they don't know the market, not a good choice to have with somebody who's not knowledgeable, or, and that's even worse, they know the market but they're not telling you the truth. Do you really want to trust your biggest financial asset to somebody who's not 100% honest with you? Let me think about it. We all use the same data. That agent has access to the same multiple listing data I do. So either they don't know how to interpret it, or worse, they're trying to be deceiving just to get the business off you. And hope that even if this property doesn't sell, they will have the sign out there, they will sell somebody else something else, so they will make their money. It's not fair to you. What do you want to do? Notice how I'm not attached to the outcome, how I'm confidently controlling the outcome of the conversation. In other words, I present the information, I understand that I'm their best choice, but if they say no, 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 and there's nothing else I can do, I simply say, good luck to you. Because I tell you one thing, guys, having a difficult seller, a penny-pinching seller, a controlling seller, I'd rather have no seller at all. Now, very often, these sellers are penny pinchers and difficult and controlling because they've been burned before or because they don't trust you. So the issue is either they question your expertise or your trust. Which one is it? Which one? You need to know. You need to know because you need to address each in a different way. If it's the expertise, you focus on the data and you focus on what's going on in the market. If it's trust, you need to start questioning what is it really between the two of you. Because if there is no trust and you have problems now, they're just going to get better when the offer is on the table. And there may be circumstances and situations where there's nothing you can do. It cannot be salvaged. Once you are labeled as either low status or incompetent, trying to salvage, and especially if you try too hard, will just come across as needy and desperate. Not where you want to be. Are you with me on that? So just do your best, sit down with the seller, do it in your office in a very neutral environment, present the information, ask a lot of questions, understand where they're coming from, because there's another possibility. I've had sellers who tried to overprice the property, were very difficult, fight me on everything, fought me on everything, questioned everything, didn't like to follow instructions I gave them, until we really figured out they didn't want to move. They didn't want to move. They came to a conclusion that they're taking all these steps not to move. And you got to be okay with it. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. Spend a few minutes with them, present the info, show them the net sheet, let them make the right decision. Okay? Helpful? Brianna, you got this. And if you have to get more sellers and better listings, do it. All right. Slee says, exciting. Angie, very cool. Gordon likes that. Hello, Roberta from Oklahoma. Nice to have you. Earl checking in from South Carolina. Lovely to have you. Roberta, what days and time are you on? We do this every Tuesday. Sandra says, you are so smart. Woo, that's why I make the big bucks. That's how I do it. You know what it is? I may be smart. Maybe. Doing it for 20 years, working with thousands and thousands of you guys, being there in the trenches for many years like you, getting my door slammed in my face, getting sellers yell at me, having deals fall apart at the last minute, I can relate. But I've also become, and I'm going to brag a little if you don't mind, because being a good real estate agent is one thing, but being able to take somebody who either is starting out and wants to do well, or who's been at it for a while and wants to take it to a whole new level, my expertise is guiding you guys. In other words, I'm like a basketball coach. I was average player at best as far as real estate. I was never a superstar, but I became a superstar teaching you guys, finding what makes you tick and how to make you perform at your best, whether it means $500,000, $1 million, or $500,000, or $200,000, whatever. That's where my strength is, to unlock what's already in you, to give you the tools and guidance. And that's what I love doing. Does that make sense? So now, I wanted to talk to you about the last 3 weeks of this year and why they're so important. Here's what I encourage you to do. Spend a little time, open a bottle of wine or get a cup of coffee and block out maybe 30 minutes to do this. What I will encourage you to do is look back at the last 12 months and take a little inventory. And this will serve you so well, not just because you want to end the year well, but you want the 2018 to be a rock star year for you. And if you want to come join me on the path, I would love to help you. I would love to turn that year into something insanely good for you. But I'll tell you about it in just a moment. So first, what worked? Now here's what I mean by what worked. Make a list of all the things that worked. What did you do well? Because what very often happens, whether it's a coaching or whether it's just analysis, and you look back, you go, I fucked that up, I screwed that one, that was wrong, that was horrible, that didn't work, that bothers me, he pissed me off. We tend to overestimate all the negative in our lives. True or false? Right? And with that, the good stuff somehow gets buried. So let's flip that. Let's start with what really worked. Did you have a strategy that worked really well? Did you pick up some really good listings, doing something cool? Did you improve in some way? Did you score some good points? Are you proud of something that stands out for you? What makes you really happy? What would you tell me if we met and you said, you know, dude, there was this one thing that I'm really proud of? Make a list and list at least 10 things that really worked well. And then take out of those which marketing and or prospecting strategies delivered result. Now by result, I only mean two things. Listings and dollars. Don't worry about leads. I hear all the time now, oh, this generate leads, that leads. Leads are good, great, but leads will not feed you. You cannot bring leads to your bank and say, I'd like to cash these, please. You can do that. So leads are good, but it's just one of the indicators. So what I want you to focus on is dollars and listings. When a seller signs on the dotted line, that's a result. When you bring that check to the bank or when you scan it now, we don't do that anymore, right? Or the money shows up in your bank, that's a result. So what worked? Make a list. Now, what will you improve? What do you want to improve for 2018 in order for you to hit the goals? And we'll talk about how to set the right goals in just a second. But what do you need to improve? What do you want to work on? More confidence, better communication, better system, improve my follow-up. Or maybe even more specific than that. Make another list. Now, pick 5 things that matter to you the most in 2018. And this can be a thing to have, a place to visit, a person to become, or something to give. It can be something charitable, to give to a person, to give to a group, to give to the world. List those 5. Something I want to have, somewhere I want to be. Vacation maybe? Cool. Somebody I want to become, and something I want to give. Make a list. Quick list. Don't overthink any of this. Let your inspiration be the guide and make it really, really quick. Now you have a list. Now, you're going to come up with a list and do this like really within a day or two, preferably when you finish. How do I get there? How do I get there? And again, you're going to make another little list. Sure, it doesn't need to be complicated. Things I need to do, things I need to learn, people, other resources that will help me get there. And just make a list. What do I have to do? You want to make $200,000 next year? What do I have to do? I need to break it down. My business, my prospecting, my follow-up, right? What do you need to do? And then you break it down. How often? What do I need to learn? I need to learn how to present better. I need to have a rock-solid listing presentation. So when I sit down with the seller, pricing is not an issue, commission is not an issue. Who can help me? I know a guy. And other people. Do I need an assistant? Is there another agent I can brainstorm with? I can meet, let's say once a month for lunch, and we can exchange ideas? Are there other people, teachers, books, gurus, Deepak? What other resources will I need? What can help me? Do I need to attend a seminar? Do I need a tool? Do I need a better CRM? Make a list. Making a list like this is like a roadmap. I am here, and let's say this year I made $100,000, and I want to be here with the things do learn the things that want to become, will cost me, let's say, $200,000. Having this roadmap, simple roadmap, I'm not a big fan of big, complicated, it's going to take you 2 days to do, fuck that. Nobody has time or the desire to do that. Make it quick. But have a basic roadmap. I am here, this thing works, these things work, these things I need to improve. These are some of the things that really matter to me. This is how I'm going to get there. Do it right now. Because right now you're setting up systems, tools, people in your life and in your business that will help you on that journey. But here's the best part. Once you get clear what really matters, and this is just a number. This can be 50,000, this can be a million or more, whatever. Think big if you're going to do it. But once you have this path, then it's just a matter of taking steps. And the cool thing about that is that whole sense of, and this can be a difficult business, I'll give you that. But once you, excuse me, have the path and break down the steps, the overwhelmment, for the most part, will disappear. Because it is this sense of, I got to do 50 different things. You don't. You don't. You really don't. The money you made here came from 20% of the stuff you did this year. So if you list the things that worked, majority of your income, 80% or more of your income, came from 20% of the things you already do. So now imagine this. What if you look at these 20%, you look at, okay, here are the things that actually cause me to make money. And let's say you're going to come up with 4 or 5 things. Marketing, prospecting, advertising, all that stuff. What if you say, well, shit, if I did these things and I made 100 grand and that's 20% of my activities resulting in 80%, what if you increase this exponentially? You did a lot more of that, whatever that is in your case and in your business. 80% of your income or more comes from 20% of the stuff you do. That means 80% of the shit you do are just distractions, waste, bullshit. So what if you could flip it around in 2018? There's this tool I have. It's more than a tool. It's coaching, it's tool. It's the biggest, most ambitious thing I've ever put together. We talked about it last time. Remember, it's called the path. Where what we're going to do together is look at the 20% that produce all the income and do that. Because my goal for next year, I can share with you, among other things, maybe I'll get that new Lamborghini. Have you seen that? The new SUV that Lambo put together? It looks pretty slick, I gotta say. What do you guys think? Did you like it? The yellow one. Remember, they just introduced it. Lamborghini making SUVs. How crazy is that? But here's my goal. I want to take a group of you, people who are ambitious, who don't mind rolling up their sleeves, who are not looking for shortcuts or overnight success or magic answers, who say, I am willing to do the work, show me the way. I will take you, and together, we're going to get on path to get you a listing a week. 50 listings in 50 weeks. Now, of course, it's not going to happen overnight. We have to build your mindset, your systems, your lead generation, your follow-up, your communication, your tools that you're using, your marketing, and all that. But that's our end goal. That's where we're going. Whatever 50 listings represents to you, money-wise and lifestyle-wise, that's our goal. That's step 1 of the path. Now there's step 2. There's part 2 to path. Beyond 50 listings in 50 weeks. But we got to get there first. And I want you to have a business that's predictable, that's enjoyable, and that's scalable. That's my goal. So we're going to get together starting next year. We're going to open in January. Registration open is in January. It's going to be an ongoing membership program. You stay as long as you want. You study at your own pace. Now, of course, I will teach you live. I will be there for you. We're going to do live Q&As and video conferences and phone calls and role plays and critiques and analysis and all that stuff. It's going to be pretty elaborate. It's going to be pretty cool. I want to work with you. That's my only focus next year, because my focus, I discovered my 20% was working with you guys. So that everything we do at Borino Productions, we stripped everything else, all the auxiliary, all the speaking engagements, all the product creation, and all that stuff went out. Everything was thrown out, to a big freak out of my staff. My focus for the 2018 is only to work with people on the path. That's it. So I would like you to come on board. There's no registration. You can't buy anything. This is not a big pitch or anything. If you go to goborino.com, I can actually show you. I think I have it here. No, right here. Goborino.com. You can just register, be put on the VIP list, so as we come closer to the launch day in January, you'll be notified. That's it. But I'm looking forward to it. All right, guys. Let's tackle more questions. There you go. Angie, what's up? Hi, Borino. Just transitioned to real estate full-time. Welcome. Woo! Yeah, baby. What's the best way to jumpstart my real estate career? Oh boy, what a great question. I have a few deals closing this month and money in savings for about 8 months. Help. Angie, first of all, congratulations on leaping full-time. Great to have you. I have, and forgive me, I can't open my calendar on the system while I'm running the live on my laptop here. But I will post it shortly on Rockstars. There is a coaching session coming up, specifically for either brand new or newer agents who need a boost, where that's exactly what we're going to talk about. What are some of the things, what are the most important, what is the 20% that's going to create 80% of the result as a new or newer agent? Where should your focus be? Where should your effort be? Where should your time be? Where should you put a little bit of money? It is not about buying a lot of business. You can if you want to and if you have the money for it. My suspicion is most of you don't, and that's fine. You don't need it. Groovy? So that's coming in December. That's going to be before the end of the year. But because I am limited technologically, challenge, I can't pull the calendar. But as soon as we finish, I will post the dates. There are 2 great coaching sessions I have for you before the end of the year. So it's going to be within the next 10 days or so. Now, before that, because I know you want some answers right now, here's what I recommend. Focus on 3 things. There are 3 things you need to do right now. First one is get good at communication. And that's something you can't do overnight, but that's something you can definitely start right away. Get really good and confident in communicating. So what communication is important? First, prospecting. Master your ability to prospect verbally. Because if you can't run big ads, if you can't spend hundreds of dollars on Facebook, you got to talk to people. And that's fine. That's actually enjoyable. And in most cases, it's actually fun and pleasant. It's no big deal. So master that. Find a partner and role play. That's what I did. That's how I got good. I role played daily for many, many years. I wanted to be the best I could possibly be. So master that. That's step 1. Step 2, pick 2, maybe 3 lead generation funnels and start working on those. Now, as a new agent, you want to get listings right away. You want to get business right away. So pick something that produces results quickly. So there are 4 I can offer you right now. Start working your sphere. Start working expired listings if you have them. Start working for sale by owners and do an open house every weekend. That's the strategy. Sphere, expireds, FSBOs, and open house, if you can. If you're in the area where weather permitted, you can do open houses. Those will be the 4 funnels. The third thing I would suggest is get a contact management system. Set up a CRM. There's a million of them out there and new ones popping up every day, but there are 2 I recommend. We're not affiliated with them. I don't get paid. We don't get a check from them, but I do like them. LionDesk and Realty Juggler. Set those up. You do these 3 things, you're on your way. That's a good start. That will set up a solid foundation. There's more to it, and we're going to talk about it in detail when we do the coaching. Okay? Helpful? Está bien. All right. God, it's a good session today. I just feel so good, like we're on the roll, huh? Enjoying it, guys? So welcome to the full-time, Angie. Mary, good morning from New Hampshire. Hello. Morning, Miss Yuri. Always good to have you. Reza, is it a good idea to have a farm? If so, how best can I work on it? How big or small should it be, Reza says. Excellent question. All right. Should you farm? Is it a good idea? Would it be my first choice when it comes to lead generation? No. No, it would not. There are several reasons for that. One, a lot of the leads you're going to be getting in your farm may be down the road, a year from now, 2 years from now. If you want to get jump-started your business, you want to get business now, focus on high probability leads first. With that being said, is it a horrible way? No, of course not. You can be sitting on your ass on your computer all day thinking you're working and you're going to be broke. So, if I were to farm, I would farm my own neighborhood. I would start with the neighborhood where I live. And I would not farm it like in every other agent, passing out silly magnets and bullshit stuff like that. I would start building connections with my neighbors. I would get to know my neighbors. I would get to be friendly with my neighbors so that they know me, I know them. We have trust and a relationship. That's where I would start. You don't need to go big, doesn't need to be, but it needs to go deep. That means they like you, they trust you. Because just like with referrals, your neighborhood can be a phenomenal source of business if they know who you are, they know what you do, they know they can trust you, and they know how to get hold of you. That's the secret. That's what you got to do. Yeah? Make sense? So that's where I would start. Make sense, Reza? Let me scroll it so we can see you. Start with the neighborhood where you live. And start just around your house. Get to know your neighbors. It is not about you shoving down their throat that you're in real estate. It is more about them being able to connect with you where you get to know them. Who they are, what are their names, do they have children, how old are the children, what do the people do for a living, who are these people? Great way to build connection, because now you're not just an agent trying to get a business, you're just a neighbor helping a neighbor. You're a guy next door who they can trust, who will protect their best interests because you live in you share the same proximity. And you can tell them, well, dude, I want your property if you're ready to sell. I want to sell it for as much as possible because the more we get for yours, the more value my house will have when I'm ready to move. You know how people say we already have a friend in the business? You can become that friend. That's the secret. Build trust and connection. So start there. Get to know people, talk to people, go to social events, interact, set up a party, do a party, throw a party, or go to parties. Become interconnected with people around you. That's a good way to farm. That's what I would do. But just to randomly pick a neighborhood, I wouldn't do that. There are better ways to do that. All right, Reza, helpful? Okay. More good question. Cecily would like to know, Borino, what is the best way to discuss a 6% commission? Many people are trying to pay 5% because so many agents are offering this. We can't legally discuss commissions, unfortunately, and who's charging what, because that's some big legal no-no, and I'm by no means a legal expert. So Cecily, I can't really help you there, but one thing I would recommend is we go into commission. I don't want to say negotiation, it's more of a presentation. But here's what I can tell you. If you're running into an issue when it comes to commission with a seller, it's for several reasons. One of few reasons. Number one, you may deal with a penny pincher. You may deal with just their personality. You know, the coupon clippers, let's go to Walmart because they have a special. Those are the people on Thanksgiving Friday, you know, that special Black Friday thing. They're willing to get trampled just so they get $50 off on a new HD TV, the big screen TV. It's a mentality. Those are not the people you want to work with. What I encourage you to do is make a list of qualities. Who is your ideal client? Make a list. We do this in boot camp, you guys. Remember my boot camp students? Make a list of people you want to work with. What qualities are you looking for? Because this will not only attract the people you want to work with, and one of them is being they appreciate my service and are willing to pay for it. That's one of the things on my perfect client list. But it will also repel, push away all the assholes or the penny pinchers or the difficult people you don't want to work with. So that's step one, get clear. If they are a total penny pincher and you cannot convince them, sometimes there's nothing you can do. Sometimes you can, but sometimes you cannot. Be okay with that. The foundation of your success is in your mindset. That's why we're going to spend quite a bit of time on the right money, success, wealth, prosperity, abundance mindset during the path. It's very important. Because without it, if you don't believe you can do it, if you don't believe it's out there, you're going to sabotage yourself, as I have. So the mindset of abundance means there are plenty of nice people, there are plenty of good clients, there's plenty of business. And there is. There'll be over 5 million transactions closed this year, so trust me, there's plenty of business. So if these people pop up in your life, cut them out. Second thing I'm going to give you is if you continuously attract people who are looking for a bargain and who are pinching you, penny pinching, there is something in your mindset that's triggering and attracting these people. If you have the mindset, I need to clip coupons and I need to really watch and hold on tight to my money because there is not enough, we're living in tough times, money's hard to come by, like attracts like. Like attracts like. Shift your mindset. Shift what you believe about money, success, wealth, prosperity, how much business there is, and who is willing to pay for what. Make sense? So careful who you attract. Next thing I'm going to give you, and this is a business strategy. If you're in the market and again, we can't discuss, nor do I want to discuss specific commissions. I don't want to get sued. But if you're in the market where a going rate, a going commission is X, whatever it is, majority of the agents charge X %, okay? When I was a new agent, I traded the risk that people were taking of me not being experienced and having a huge track record. I give them a good deal. I would say, okay, most agents charge X. I will charge you X minus, let's say, 1,000. You're going to save $1,000 just to get the business, to get the experience. So be okay, be flexible. Because I figured some commission, some dollars are better than no dollars. And I often felt like it was my ego getting in the way. It wasn't a good, smart business decision. Later, as I became experienced and I became known and established high-status agent, I didn't have to. But you got to be flexible. So if a common rate in your market is this, and you feel I could make a lot of money, get a lot of sellers, this is the only issue, let it go. Don't let your ego, don't let your emotions get in the way. Make a smart business decision. But I venture to say there are people out there who are willing to pay whatever you feel your service is worth it. But if they continuously pinch you, there may be something deep inside where you don't trust yourself, you don't trust your service, you don't trust that you can deliver and you're worth it. And there's one more part to that. You need to have enough lead generation funnels in place, because here's the issue. Imagine you're on a listing presentation and it's going pretty well. However, the seller is just really bashing you over price and commission, price and commission, price and commission. That's the only determining factor. If that's one listing appointment you have for the entire month, you would sit there and take a lot of beating just to get that listing because you're desperate. And the reason I know that, I was there. I remember what it feels like. Now imagine you have enough lead generation systems and a good follow-up in place, and you have 3 listing appointments that week. And if one of those sellers turn out to be an asshole and you clearly can't move them, can't do anything, there's no connection and trust, they don't see the value in what you do, you simply stand up, you shake their hand, and you say, I appreciate the opportunity, I can't help you, goodbye and good luck. And that's it. Knowing you have that power from the beginning will not only give you the freedom, but it will make your listing presentation 10 times more powerful. Because there's no neediness, there's no desperation, there's no low status. You don't have to be, again, no arrogant. You're just confident. And you know what you're worth. You ever notice that I don't offer discounts? Like I don't do specials. We don't do any of that. We didn't have like Black Friday special, get my shit for 50% off. I don't do that. Because that would attract a very different crowd. Because if somebody doesn't see the value in paying $200, $300 for something, and they feel like, well, if I save $100, it's good. If I don't save $100, it sucks. That's not my crowd. But I have a different mindset. I believe there's plenty of you guys out there who appreciate what I teach and what I do and who get tons of value out of it and make a lot of money as a result. Does it make sense? So it's a different mindset. You have to shift all that, and you also have to shift your business strategy. Because if you have good lead generation systems and if you're producing a lot of appointments on a regular basis, if one of them becomes difficult, it's no big deal to walk away. And I recommend fire clients. Let go of people who are difficult, where you can't do anything about it. Now, the last part I'm going to give you is make sure you have a rock-solid listing presentation. Very important. Make sure the seller really understands the difference between a shitty agent, average agent, and a rock star like you. Make sure they see what it takes to get a property sold. Hot market or not, doesn't matter. It's still a difficult, challenging, and complicated situation. That you know how to solve the problem. You know how to handle it. You know what to do to get them to the finish line. And it is your job as a master communicator to convey that without selling yourself. This is not about, oh, look at the 500 fucking things I do. That's not hard to do. That's not what I'm talking about. It is about connecting with them, understanding their situation, and presenting specific solutions to help them to get to where they want to be. Make sense? Yeah? Takes a little practice. All right, so we answered the commission question. Sandra says that all sounds excellent. Well, good. Hey, Miss Diana, that was lovely, that post you posted, Diana, about the seller, she first was cranky and difficult and you turn it around. That was lovely to hear. Nora from beautiful San Diego, California. Sandra likes my comment on being smart. You exemplify high status agent to a T. Well, thanks, Jose. That's the idea. Merry Christmas to you, good sir, Mr. William May. Starting out, I want to learn from the best. You're in the right place. Not just me. This is not just me, Sandra. I don't have an ego big enough to say it's just me. There are so many smart people. I mean, think about it, guys. Rockstars is now at 22,000 members. We're one of the biggest and one of the fastest growing smart real estate groups here on Facebook. It's awesome. Good morning, Nicole. How are you? Glad I made the live session today, says Tiffany. Glad you're here, Tiffany. Hey, Anita. Hi, Borino. Thanks for your wisdom. 4 years in real estate, struggling with listings. Live in a high-end sort of exclusive community. Started farming, but struggling to get listings. How do you penetrate, please? Thank you. Anita, first of all, if it's too hard, don't do it. Excuse me. If it's really so difficult, so challenging, find an easier way. You know, very often, and I'm speaking from experience, we set up circumstances and conditions in our life to struggle. And sometimes we do it deliberately, and sometimes we do it unconsciously. But we set up circumstances where we make it really hard to succeed. Like I get comments from an agent who says, well, I'm in this rural area where every home is like 15 minutes apart. How do I succeed? I'm like, dude, that's hard. That's hard. That'd be like opening an ice cream shop in North Pole. That's hard. It's a hard sell. You know what I mean? You're not going to sell many Playboy subscription in a convent, you know? You got to make it easier on yourself. So if the community is really hard, if it's gated and if it's difficult, there are other ways to make money in real estate. You don't need to. We live in lovely Virginia. Let me tell you a story. And we have these beautiful days around May where we live, we are in just outside of Washington, D.C., a few miles outside. It's like a forest. Like we live in a forest. We have a lake. There are a bunch of trees. It's beautiful. And in 15 minutes, I can be in D.C., in the city. And in May, we have this seating outside where I open these big sliding doors, and we have a nice patio, and I love to work out there. And I was inside in the den. The doors were open. There was this lovely breeze. And we had a fly. And a fly came in and kind of zoomed around, you know, and it tried to get out. And we had these beautiful sheer curtains, and it got kind of tangled in the curtain, and then it was going after the light, and it hit the sliding door, the glass. And you could hear just zzz, bang, zzz, bang, zzz, bang. And I was just working on my computer going, that's one dumb fly. The fucking thing is open. Just pull back, take a little perspective, move left like 2 feet, and you're out. And yet the fly was stubbornly just going bam, 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 bam. I'm like, that's gotta hurt. That's gotta hurt, you know what I mean? So I was in amazement. I was looking at that fly, and it was just stubbornly just hitting, not getting the result it wanted. How many of you have been at that point where you don't have a perspective, and you're just going against the wall, boom, 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 and you're bleeding, you're hurt, you have a big bulge in going, that fucking thing doesn't work. So what I encourage you to is step back a little. Get a little perspective, take a break and go, I wonder if there's a better way. If the neighborhood is difficult, if the approach you're using is not getting you the results, you don't need to do it for a year to figure out, fuck, this is really not working. If the neighborhood is hard to penetrate, if you have tons of competition, if it's hard, step back and say, how can I make this easier on myself? Where is the money? Because the money is there. The business is there. But just make it easier. And if you have to move, then fucking move. Why bang against the wall if you can move a little and make tons of money? Now, with that being said, if there is a neighborhood where you want to kind of establish yourself, that's cool. Do a lot of open houses, door knock, market in that neighborhood. You can use Facebook to target that neighborhood. You can do direct mail. You can telemarket, hire a firm to do calling for you. There are ways you can do that. But would it be on top of my list? Hell no. There are other ways. Work in old expireds, work in new expireds, for sale by owners, work in my referrals, doing open houses, running some simple, inexpensive Facebook advertising, doing a little bit of direct mail. That's all you need. No need to bang yourself against the wall. Cool? Hope that answered your question, Miss Anita. I'm proud that I started cold calling and meet more people. My goal is to sell more listings, says Nora, than last year and every day improve and contact more people. Thank you for showing me the success, Borino. My pleasure, Nora. I tell you guys. It is the stories like that that fuel me, that make me passionate, because I know they inspire you, others, reading about somebody's success story. Everybody wins. Everybody wins. The reason I put the path together, because I was sitting here for months. It took me months to really put it together so that I feel like, okay, now we're ready. Now we can roll it out so it's effective. I wanted to come up with ways to really give you everything you need. You still need to deliver the work, but the guidance, the answers, the tools, the resources, the sequence is all there. The path is all lined up. Here's where we're going. Come with us. And it is people like you who have the drive and the desire. That's all I'm asking for. Not the experience, not the budget, none of that. You want it. You want it because you know my family deserves it, I deserve it, my clients deserve it, my community deserves it. I want that. And I'll show you. Yeah. So it's great. It's great. I'm proud as well. Steve says differentiation is a key, I guess. That's part of it. Absolutely, Steve. Yes. Sandra says you're funny. I want to be. I want to have a good time. I want you to have a good time. Fuck that serious thing. Pareto principle applies to everything, Jose. You're absolutely right. 80-20. After our practice session today, Amin and I were discussing exactly what you're teaching today. You explain it much better. Well, thank you, Gordon. I do that for a living, so I better do this well. Angie says, that's deep. Take me for a ride in it, says Sandra. Show me the way. Path sounds interesting. You will know more about Path, Diana. It's coming. I call it the Bootcamp 2.0. Everything that worked in the Bootcamp, we're going to transition into Path, and then we're going to make it better. That's the idea. Okay. Jenny says, I like that. One program at a time. P.S. Just listed a FISBO last night. Look at you, Janice Rockstar. That's awesome. How do you register for January program? Shauna would like to know. Shauna, if you go to goborino.com, there's a little form, just pre-register. It simply goes on like a VIP list, so you'll be the first one to know when we open the registration and do all that. But it's going to be available in January. It's called the Path. All right. Angie says, yes, thank you so much. Well, glad I was helpful. Georgios, did I get it right, or is it Georgios? It's definitely Greek, right? God, I'm so smart. Borino, do things like having a good website, good property photos, and nice property videos really work? How much time and money should an agent invest in these things? Again, I think it's Georgios, but let's stick with that. But here's what I can tell you. Do they help? Absolutely yes. Having a nice website helps. Having good property video helps. Can you really track down, well, that made us this much money? No. It is not a trackable item. If you work expired listings and you call 5 of them, you list one, then clearly you know calling expireds works and produces X amount of dollars. Having a nice website, it's harder to track down the exact impact it has on your business. But if you look at it from an overall perspective, think about it this way. Imagine you're talking to an expired listing, you've been in touch with them, they're thinking about selling, and one day they say, you know what, we want to talk to you, come on down, let's talk. There is a good chance that seller will be doing some background check on you. They may go on Zillow and read some reviews. They may check out your website. They may go on your YouTube channel. Many people do that, right? You probably check me out. We probably met on YouTube, you and I. And before I take your money, you probably do a little bit of checking. Everybody does the same thing. People do that. They will look you up on Facebook possibly. So be prepared. Now, some do, some don't. Be ready for it. So having these things in place, yes. Would it be a priority? Of course not. Would it be expensive? No. Be frugal about it. This is not about investing thousands of dollars. You don't need to. But it needs to be, you know how that logo, my company has a logo of the toolbox? It should be one of the tools in your toolbox, having a decent website. Now, do you need a super fancy, complicated IDX search and any of that stuff? No. But there should be a section for buyers. There should be, here's what a website should present. This is who I am. This is what I do. Here's how I help people. Here's how you can get in touch with me. Here are a few people I've helped. So you show credibility, you show expertise, you show trust, you show status. Very little. Here's the community, here are some tips. You know, just go online, do a little research. Don't overthink any of that. Will it result in a boatload of business? Of course not. People will not be lining up in front of your office saying, we saw your website, we love it, where do we sign? That doesn't work that way. But it is possible, if you're one of the agents considered, to be hired to listing a property. If another agent has a better website, the first impression sways. It shifts. All right? Groovy, groovy, groovy. So glad I crossed you. What a great information, Sir Roberta. My pleasure. Jerry says, not sure what happened, but my computer freezes. Well, sometimes Facebook does that. I've seen it happen where it just freezes. Just restart the broadcast. Jeff says, do you have any tips for part-time agents? Jeff, I do. Come to that coaching because we're going to spend about an hour, hour and a half talking about where do you start as a newer agent, part-time agent. You want to get going, or you've been at it for a while, but you just have no momentum, no traction. So we'll talk about it. All right. Borino, what systems do you recommend to contact expireds and FSBOs? Nicole would like to know. Nicole, this will sound like an advertisement for my stuff, and I don't mean it that way. But I have two systems that will help you explain the psychology of for sale by owners and psychology of expireds. It will give you the first contact tools you need, like the brochure, the letter you're going to need, the dialogues to use. It's all put together as a system. You can get them separate or you can buy them as a whole system. I call it the Success Plus. So it's up to you. But if you go to expiredplus.com, you can get the expired system. It comes in the mail. You get a box in the mail with a book. There's online portion to both of them where I have videos set up where I coach you and guide you through it. Same for the FSBOs. The FSBO website is fsborino.com. So get these two, and you can be up and running with FSBOs and expireds quickly. This is a good time, actually, because here's what's going to happen. Watch this. We are at the beginning of December. Last week of December through first week of January, you're going to see a big spike of expireds. It happens every year, and it happens in almost every market, where you see 2, 3 expireds, 4 expireds, 5 expireds, 100. So there's going to be a great opportunity to grab some of that market, establish these connections, even though some sellers will tell you, we're not quite ready yet. That's okay. Because through good follow-up, that's part of both systems, you're going to nurture the connection. So when they are ready, and sometimes it just means they need to kind of shake off the bad experience of not getting the property sold in the first place, you will be their logical choice. So it's Expired Plus, and it's FSBOrino. You can get them. You will also get an implementation session with me. We're going to get on Zoom, which is like a video conference, you and I, and we'll spend time talking about your business, implementing the system, answering your questions. I want to make sure that if you get it, might as well use it, might as well profit from it. So that comes with it. It's free. It's a free coaching session with me personally where I'll help you. Cool? So do check that out. Did we lose sound? Becky says. I hope not. Angie would like to know, what are your thoughts on monthly mailers to my sphere? I watched what you said about farming. Great question. Should you do like monthly newsletter? I'm not a huge fan of newsletters. There was a time 10, 15 years ago where newsletters were cool and people like to read them. I think the time is gone. We don't have as much patience anymore. We don't have as much time anymore. And we don't have as much interest to just browse through a generic newsletter, whether it's real estate specific or just here are the recipes and here's this and here's that. So I think the impact has diminished over time. With that being said, if that's all you got, that's all you got. It's better than nothing. I believe that personal communication, impactful communication with your sphere is much more powerful. If you take daily 5 people from your sphere and you say thank you, and you write congratulations, and you write happy birthday, and you write well done, or you're like, I'm really sorry, that will get you a lot further. With that, you can combine it. Market updates, real estate tips, that's all good. You can incorporate that. And even a newsletter once in a while may work. But I believe that doing solely that is not going to get you far. Besides, you know how when you get something, whether it's in the mail or as an email, you can tell whether it was intended for you and it resonates with you, or it's just a part of some big, massive template thing. Everybody's like that. You're not any different. Everybody reacts the same way. Your clients or your prospects know whether this was intended for them and it's cool and interesting and helpful, and it's meant for them as either a personal piece or a marketing piece, or it's just advertising. You know what I mean? So really think through what would work the best, what would deliver the most impact. What would you rather get? A personal note from me saying congratulations on getting that new listing, or a postcard in the mail saying, oh, I got this new program you should buy, that a million other agents get. You know what I mean? So look at it from that perspective. Now, of course, having help, having people and resources that will support that, because it's not exactly an easy process, is important. You can't just be there all day, every day sending handwritten notes to people. Absolutely. But there are resources and tips and tools to do that. Social media is fantastic for that. Interact with people on social. That's brilliant. That's beautiful. That's where people are. That's where you should be as well. And direct mail is a huge part of that. communication. But I think relying on newsletters alone is not going to get you very far. So monthly mailers in general, great idea, but as far as like generic newsletters, I'm not a huge fan of. I think I misunderstood your question, Angie. So should you mail your sphere monthly? Maybe not even monthly. I don't think you need to do it that often. If you have good leads, people who are thinking about selling, then yes. Some even more often than that. If you have like a good expired who says we're going to be ready in 30 days, ooh, they'll be getting something every 3-4 days from me. They will see my face constantly. But as far as your sphere, maybe the frequency is not as important as quality of the communication. And sometimes texting or picking up the phone is even more powerful. Especially if you see somebody struggling with a disease or illness or personal tragedy or something joyful, like the daughter's getting married or the son graduated from school. Being part of that has a lot more impact than just generic mailers. Okay? All right. Jerry says, I have a client who qualified for a purchase but wants to rent. No more than $1,100 monthly, wants to hour from where I am. Please advise on softer way of firing her. That's a good, see, I'm glad I don't have to sell you on the fact that you need to let her go. I would say, this is not my area of expertise. I very much appreciate your friendship. I appreciate the connection and relationship we have, but I just can't help you. I may be able to refer you. Let me look around. Good luck. That's it. Do it with heart. Be kind. But you got to be honest. It's not good for you, and because it's not good for you, it's not good for your client. It's just not your area of expertise. Yeah, nice and simple. Don't work clients that you cannot contribute or they don't contribute to your business. So much value in your systems, well put together, and most important, it's relative to today's market, not stuff from 1970s. I love that. I'm going to give you a heart, my man Brian. Appreciate that. Thank you so much for saying that. Phil says, hi Borino, good afternoon from Staten Island, what the hell? Brooklyn, New York. New York in the house. There is no shortage of stubborn homeowners with attitude here. And they're everywhere, but they're also nice people everywhere, Phil. Don't buy into this, well, I'm in New York and everybody is, forget about it. It's not like that. Dell has a question. Hello from Fort Lauderdale. Have opportunity to join one of the top real estate teams in Florida. I'm currently at 100% split, joining team 50% split, but opportunity to double units sold. Unsure what to do. Get, coach, or join successful team. Get a coach or join a successful team. Dell, that's a really good question. Early on, when I started in real estate, one of the things I did was I worked for a top producing team in my area. I wanted to learn the ropes. I wanted to see how they work and how they present and how they handle their business. It was great, and I enjoyed it. But there came a time where I had to go on my own. So I would suggest, if you feel like you would learn and benefit from being part of the team temporary, short term, and I'm talking few months, then definitely do it. Because if you can learn from top producers, from people who really do it, that's awesome. Just be careful. Because many times you join this team in hope that you're going to learn, where all you become is just a runner or a telemarketer. And there's not much learning going on, there's not much growth going on. It's mostly just doing chores for somebody else. So get very clear and sit down with them and be very clear and very specific. What are you going to do? What is expected? How it's going to go? For how long? And what you're going to get out of it. I would not make it about the commission splits. 50%, 100%, that's not important right now. They will come to play once you know how to run a profitable business. But right now you want to learn the ropes, you want to learn the discipline, the skill, the communication, the systems. And a good team can teach you all that. So get very specific. This is what I'm signing up for. This is for how long. Here's what's expected of me. And this is what I can expect in return. That's how you do it. Yeah? And then come on board. Do the path with me, and then you don't need teams or any of that. I'll become your team and your coach. And I will crack my whip on you people. All right. Mr. Jeffrey Thompson, always great to have you, good sir. Always good information. Great December. Took sign call to pocket listing, 1 property, 3 showings, accepted offer, full commission. Well done, my man. Listing appointments, fear. Eventually down the road, they call you, the expert. Absolutely. Nicole says, thank you, my pleasure. Do you have a program that will help me identify disc type? Tiffany, I'll tell you a secret. I don't know if I ever publicly disclosed this. I don't know what my disc is. I have never taken disc. I see no practical value in it. There, I said it. And I know a lot of Keller Williams people now go, kill him! Here's the problem. There was a period of my life where I studied heavily influence, hypnosis, neuro-linguistic programming, all that stuff. And part of it, as some of you guys know, who are way better experts than I ever would be, is you do the mirroring, you do the matching, read their personality, you try to figure out where they are on the disc and who are you on the disc and all that. The fundamental problem with this approach is trying to analyze your client and then influence them based on what you think they are and or you are. Will completely distract you from the primary focus, which is having a connected conversation with them, and based on the conversation, making decisions that are best for the client. So here's what I mean. When you go to your doctor, I went for a physical not long ago, and yes, you know what I mean? It was that time of the year. Do you think my doctor spent any time trying to analyze my disc profile, who I was? Do you think he did any influence or evaluation of my personality or any of that stuff? Would I expect him to? I have a great doctor, by the way. He's awesome. Dr. Vidwan, brilliant. Absolutely fantastic guy. No. I came in, we had a little chat, and I was friendly. It was very pleasant, but it was fairly brief. We focused on any issues I had health-wise. We did the lab test, we did the blood test, the urine test, you know, the usual stuff you do on your physical. And that was it. Job done. That's what you're expected to do. So if you get tangled into this and that, you're going to go down a very difficult, complicated, and often very dead-end path. So what I recommend is this. You will have basically two types of clients. You will have clients who are the artists, okay, or prospects. These are people who use expressions like that doesn't feel right, or my intuition, or my gut feeling. They work on a lot of emotions. They make quick decisions, they move quickly, they're very esoteric, they think in concepts, they make on-the-spur quick decisions. It's all about emotions, friendships, connections. They think in pictures. They're very visual, and they're fairly easy to spot. A lot of people are like that, okay? That's the first group. Then the second group will be the engineers, very analytical. These are people who need their bottom line. The move only makes sense if they can net $174,000 because that will buy them the condo in Florida where they put 27% down and their PITI will be exactly $3,147.63. So your job, rather than analyzing this, that, personality, that, think, what makes these people tick? Underneath both of these decisions that they make is always an emotion. It's always an emotional decision. Even the most analytical engineer types start with an emotion. There's always the driving factor. What drives them forward to move, to buy or sell, is an emotion. Now, how they express that emotion and how they act on emotion is usually manifested in one of two ways. Either through feelings, like the artist would, or through rational, logical support. Now, artists will still need to have logic. If they're selling a $200,000 house to buy a $170 million chateau, they can have all the emotion in the world. If logic doesn't make sense, it's not going to happen. Just like the engineer at the end needs to have a certain emotion satisfied for the move to make sense for them. So your job as a communicator is to understand, who am I dealing with? Are they living in the realm of the artist or are they living in the realm of the engineer? Does it make sense so far? So your job. Understand the emotion. What is the core driving emotion? Safety of the neighborhood, prestige, happiness, joy, connection with the family, having a peace of mind that don't have a big mortgage payment crushing them. Those are all emotions. That's what triggers the decision to move in the first place. And then if you know I'm talking to an engineer, I'm going to support it with data. Here's some data that supports that decision. Here are some facts and figures. If I'm talking to the artist, you connect. You talk about the emotion. You talk about the connection they will have in Florida with their family, having Thanksgiving or Christmas dinner, sitting around the table singing Christmas carols. Does that make sense? It's a much easier, simpler, more powerful way of engaging, communicating, and influencing people. Are you with me? So don't get too hung up on discs and profiles and analysis, because that will preoccupy your mind and you will lose the connection with the people you're communicating with. Whether it's a listing presentation or prospecting or follow-up or negotiations, any of that. So make it really simple and easy on yourself. Where is the shift of the focus? Which realm? Now, engineers have artists in them, obviously. Artists have some engineers in them. So it's never black and white. But there's always a clear sway, one or another. And that's all you need to know. At the end, they both look up to you as the authority, the expert, and their guide. Just like I look up to my doctor. I have no clue what his disc profile is. I know he's fairly analytical, but also very empathetic. But beyond that, I know he's going to get the job done. If there's something wrong with my body, he's going to help me. And I can look up to him. Why? Because I trust him. And he is the leader in that situation, just like you leading the situation of getting the property sold, selling it for the good money. Does that make sense? Kind of simplified. Easier and very powerful still. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we could stay here for a long time. Borino, can you give us what's your 2018 prediction? What's lying ahead in your... Oh, wow, good question. Andy says, Borino, can you give us what's your 2018 prediction of what's lying ahead in your point of view? So we're going to wrap up with that. Great question, by the way, Andy. Here's what I see. Being involved in this crazy business for 7 million years, 2018 will be a very good year for a group of agents. For a group of you, it will be the best year you've ever had. I think as far as number of transactions closed, it's going to be very similar to 2017. We're going to end up somewhere around 5.1, 5.2 million homes sold, transactions sold, according to NAR. I think 2018 will be pretty similar to that. That means there will be plenty of opportunities, plenty of people moving, plenty of chances for you to make a lot of money. But I also believe that 2018, unlike 2017 and back, will require more skill, better tools, and more flexibility. I think you got to be way more nimble. I think the same old, this has always worked, so we're going to continue doing that, are over. I think we're going to see more pressure from outside companies who see the opportunity, real estate, as an area where nobody really cracked the code yet. Zillow hasn't cracked the code yet, Realtor.com, any of these big websites or companies or corporations who see this as a cash opportunity haven't figured out yet how to break in. You know, they always announce, oh, this is going to be groundbreaking. This is going to be, what do they call it? There's an expression they call it. This is going to be a disruptor. We haven't had a disruptor yet. There hasn't been an Uber in the real estate industry because the machine cannot replace you. You know why? No matter what, 2018, mark my words, is still going to be a people business. More than ever, it's going to depend on your ability to build authentic connections, trust, and relationship with people, where your credibility and your expertise has to be established early on. Way more than how much you charge as commissions. I think the value of agents who only offer discounted commissions will going to diminish. Because I believe that consumers these days expect great service, fast service, 100% service and expertise, way more than expect cheap commission agents. Discounters will not go away. They will still be around. But they're not going to own a big chunk of the market. That would have happened already, but it hasn't. Because the consumers understand the benefit of having you on their side. And I think that's going to continue. I think it's going to require on your part more expertise, better communication, better tools. I think we'll also see impact of technology will grow in 2018, especially video. I was in a private, very kind of hush-hush meeting with Facebook, and one of the things they're going to push heavily next year is video. That's why I teach you video. I don't do it because I think it's good. I do it because they think it's good. And if Facebook says we're going to do a lot more video, you should pay attention to that. You should get on board. Doesn't mean you need to spend a lot of money or get Hollywood production videos out there, but I think it's time for you to incorporate video in the way you communicate with your market, in the way you differentiate yourself, you position yourself, and in the way you present the product and your service that you offer. I think 2018 will be a phenomenal year for some of you. I think it can be the absolute best year you've ever had. I think you're going to work for it. I think those that are looking for shortcuts and for easy, going to be out. We're going to see a huge turnover in the industry. If you look around you, in your office, in your neighborhood, people that you see today will not be here in 2018. I think 2018 will be a year of filtering. All the part-timers, and I'm knocking you people who are trying to make it and transition into full-time. I'm talking, when I say part-timer, I mean more of a mentality. Like, I'm going to make a quick buck here while I'm holding on to this safety here. I think it's going to be a year of you guys who are willing to do what it takes and go the distance and put all your eggs in one basket and watch that fucking basket. That's my prediction. And I think if you and I will have the opportunity to work together, because that's the only thing I'm doing next year is the path, we can crush it. That's my goal and commitment to you. And I will not stop until you get there. Now, some of you get there very quickly, which is awesome. Some of you, it will take some time. We're building a business. You're building a fortune. You're building a business. You're building a future. It's not going to happen overnight. My commitment to you guys is I will stay with you for as long as it takes. I will do whatever it takes, whether it's to inspire you, to push you, to prod you, to ridicule you, to pinch you in the butt, to kick you in the butt, to guide, to answer, to be there for you. Okay? My friends, time well spent. Thank you so much for being here today. What a good session today. I really enjoyed it. I would continue, but I'm kind of losing my voice already. I had a big coaching session earlier. We'll do it again next week. What do you say? Come back. We'll talk next Tuesday again. There's a coaching session that's lined up. I'm going to post when we're doing the Rookie to Rockstar coaching. We're doing another coaching. I have a Hollywood actor and a professional coach who will help you. Talking about video. What a coincidence. She is a coach to movie stars, how to be confident on camera. She coaches TV personalities. She coaches people who need to be better present on camera. She's going to share with you. We're going to do an interview with her, live coaching session with her. She's going to share some cool stuff. More info on that is coming. Path is coming in January. Have a fantastic rest of the week. Coach Borino signing off. Thank you so much. What a great Tuesday live. I'll talk to you next week. Let's go get him. Bye, everybody.